You don't tell people you're struggling. You just get quieter. And when someone finally asks if you're okay, you smile. You say, "I'm fine." And the terrifying part? You've done it so many times, you can't tell anymore if you're lying to them or to yourself.
There's a specific kind of exhaustion no one talks about. It's not the tiredness from working too hard. It's the tiredness from watching, constantly scanning, reading rooms, studying faces for the earliest possible sign that something is about to go wrong. You call it good instincts. You call it knowing people. But here's what's actually happening inside your nervous system. The amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for threat detection, becomes hypersensitive. It stops waiting for danger. It starts manufacturing it. You notice the slight pause before someone texts back. You notice the change in someone's tone, a half-degree shift that no one else in the room caught. And the most sinister part? Sometimes you're right, and that feels like proof. But what it actually taught you is that nowhere is safe. You're not perceptive. You're braced.
This is the one most people won't admit. You don't just fear losing people. You practice it. Somewhere in the architecture of your mind, there's a quiet room where you go, sometimes at night, sometimes in the middle of a laugh, and you rehearse the ending. You imagine the conversation where they leave. You write the version where they betray you. You construct the loss before it happens. The brain has learned to find a strange, almost narcotic comfort in imagining the worst, because the worst is at least familiar. The sensation is physical. There's a weight somewhere between the sternum and the throat, heavy without being sharp, dull, constant, almost like company. You've been alone with that feeling so long, you might not know who you are without it. Society tells you this is maturity. I've learned to be independent. I don't need much. I'm easy. But here is the inner reality. You stopped asking because asking once cost you something. Maybe it cost you dignity. Maybe it cost you a relationship. Maybe the person you asked looked at your need like it was an inconvenience. And something in you quietly concluded, I will never let anyone look at me like that again. So you contracted. You made yourself smaller. You learned to need nothing, in the precise shape of someone who was told their needs were too much. The healing is not in learning to need less. The healing is in learning to ask anyway, knowing you might not get it, and surviving that repeatedly without shutting down. Because silence, chosen out of fear, is not peace. It's just a different kind of pain, wearing a quieter coat. The people who hurt you were not, in most cases, monsters. They were people with their own unexamined wounds, acting out patterns they never chose. The person who made you feel like too much, someone once made them feel like too much. This does not make what they did acceptable, but it does mean that the damage passed through you from somewhere else. And the question is whether you pass it forward or whether you're the one who finally sets it down. So the next time someone asks if you're okay, notice what happens in the half second before you answer. Notice who you're protecting, and ask yourself whether the person you're keeping all of this from is them or you.